Hopefully, we should be back at the moment, my friend. See if this is all... Yes, we are. So, however, I do apologise completely. What went wrong, but we may have a new link as well to give out. Anyway, go ahead. Mr. Tom.
Welcome back, welcome back, folks. Do apologies for the technical eruption. But we are back in play with this SimRacers round at Oulton Park as the drivers do begin their qualifying session. You've not missed anything or anything major by any means. They are on their first flying laps or their second flying laps, because some have just posted lap times. Now, Newman is on top of the timing pages ahead of Hefford in second place, and it's Sanson third, Ayres fourth. There's Ralph Cullingham in fifth place with Jamie Wilson in sixth spot, with right incidents, the last of those to get times on the board so far. We expect the time to become quicker than that they've just done, so don't assume that is what it's going to end up in the next 10 minutes or so. Dean, I bring you into the commentary position. Just in case the audience had missed what we had been saying earlier, anything you're looking out for this evening involving the drivers?
No, not so much as we've got some good flying lap times at the moment. I'm just trying to see if we can get the link out there to the audience that was watching before as well, too, my friends, because now that we're on a completely new YouTube link, I'll see if we can get that sorted out in the background to get that qualifying. But as you mentioned, I don't know, maybe you can see a repeat of Ollie's great performance that you said last week, but Ollie is not out on track at the moment, which is unusual, whereas we have all the other drivers out currently at the moment. Pete looks like he's going to set the top of the timesheets, my friend, at the moment, because he's lighting it up, as you can see, purples everywhere.
Yes, drivers are continuing to improve their times. The track is picking up by the second. Peter Van Gool goes to the top with a 1:45.1. Half a second clear over Steve Hefford in second position. And in third place is Roger Morton now, who's the fastest of all the AM drivers. In case you're wondering how many drivers are expected to turn up this evening, at the end of the practice session, we saw 8 pros and 9 from AM racing this evening. One driver who's making his first appearance of this summer campaign is Dries Nies, who didn't compete last week or the week before. We've been to Sebring 2 weeks ago, went to Watkins Glen last week, and looking at the rest of the calendar, we've got Oulton Park tonight, Red Bull Ring next week on the 2nd of July. It's Phillip Island on the 9th, Canadian Motorsport Park on the 16th, and it's Spa on the 23rd, Brands Hatch on the 30th of July to round out the month. It's off to the States at Road Atlanta, and it's off to the Tuscan region of Italy to Mugello. Oschersleben in Germany is the venue for the penultimate round, and we use the NASCAR road course of Daytona on the 27th of August to round up the summer phase of the second season of the UK SimRacers series of 2024.
How's it going at the moment? Pete's got Steve Hetfield's got a minute in first sector. As you can see, there's a lot of sectors that have been divided up in the timing that we have here. Just keeping an eye on, as you said, our relatively new driver here of Dries Nies. He's going to be flying through that section. Gonna love it, this track, my friend.
Yes, I mean, this track is 4.2 kilometers long. I mean, there's a lot of corners where the drivers tend to, get it wrong sometimes. They've removed the chicane, actually, near where Knickerbrook is, as Sanson goes through there, up the hill towards... Is that Sanson who's going up the hill? I can't quite tell from the camera angle. If we can just get a highlight to see who that actually is, or what the corner is. It's the 007, actually, of Dries Nies. So, just remember that. So he's going through Druids now, and it's the right hand of the last corner, which is Lodge, before it goes through the kink onto the pit straight, and that will round out the lap of Oulton Park. He's not on... I don't know if he is on a representative lap here. I think he is actually on a representative lap, but this is kind of his first timed lap as he goes over the line here to do a 1:45.1, was it? No, it's a 1:46.1 by the looks of it. I'm just trying to see where he is on the time phase there, as I look on the timing board just to help me out. Can't see his name on the screenshot.
It's... well, that lap was... It is... Yeah, I don't see it on here, but it... it's just a banker lap. But for some reason on our telemetry, it doesn't show a lap time, but yet it is showing no. There's no timing yet because it's an invalid lap, I believe.
Okay, well that clears that up then. So he'll have to go again and see if he can improve there. But at this stage now, the drivers are starting to lose tyre life on circuit. Once they start falling away, they really do start falling away. As we look at the 96 there going up the hill, who's in the 96 there in that light green and black liveried machine as they come through Druid's corner, or is 95?
So 95. It's Ollie
Ricks. That will be what it is. My apologies for that. As he heads towards the last proper corner of the circuit of Lodge, he's got a car in front of him, maybe able to get a tow off that machine in front as he approaches the start-finish line. So we ride on board with Ollie Ricks as he goes to the line now. What is this lap time going to be? It needs to be a solid one, if anything. And it doesn't look like he improved. Oh, is this Mick Barry that he's going over the line? No, it can't be Mick Barry because Ollie Ricks has gone through turn one. Mick Barry has gone over the line, but he's back in the pits now. Fiona Siddons has improved to 12th fastest with a 1:47.8. Jamie Wilson moving in front of McLean now into 9th place. They're both in different classes, but they are still racing for position nevertheless in regards to pace. Pete Van Gool's fast at the moment in this qualifying session with a 1:45.1, nearly 4 tenths clear over Newman in 2nd position, Steve Hefford in 3rd, and it's Tom Griffiths in 4th. Roger Morton, the fastest of all the AM drivers, in 5th, and it's Jamie has Ralph Cullingham in 7th place, and we've got Sanson in 8th position. Jamie Wilson 9th, and Dries Nice, the slowest of all the pro drivers so far. So he heads down towards past where the British Touring Car drivers would use the chicane there of Hislops. They skipped that and up towards Clay Hill and Water Tower. And we'll look to see how he gets on. I don't know if he's actually on an improvement here. Is Ollie Ricks. Well, this is actually his first proper time. Like you can see the green sectors as he comes up behind. Who's that? He's behind at the moment. Can't quite see from the camera. I know it's a white and blue liveried machine there. I think that someone is going over there. It might be Newman actually. Thinking of it, Pete Newman going over the line. Ollie Ricks does as well. Ricks gets his first time on the board, and the time is a 1:46 dead for Ricks. So he goes up into 6th position, and he'll be hoping to improve in the final minutes. This grid does determine the start of race number 1, and
oh,
I hope you can just see there.
That's
a knock.
Dries.
Is that Dries? Yeah. So Dries needs hitting the wall there on the exit of Lodge, so that'll be him off into the pit lane. I don't know how quickly you can get that fixed and go back out again before the checker flag comes out. And we are now looking at Jamie Ayres in, well, they're all racing in Mazdas, but in the red and black liveried Mazda car of his. So he goes through Knickerborough now, and he heads towards up the hill underneath what used to be a Yokohama bridge. I don't think it is still called that colloquially, but that's what it used to be in the past. And this is Druids now, the right-hander of Druids. We've seen a number of accidents in various motor racing championships over the years, not to mention Danny Watts, who went over the top of Heikki Kovalainen, of all people, at that corner. He was able to come away with that unscathed, but it was a wild accident for certain. And now he's going through Lodge Corner up towards the pit straight. He's got a couple of cars ahead of him, so he might pick up a nice save as he goes over the line. Jamie Ayres, where does he go up? He's up to 5th place. It's quite a big jump in position there for Ayres. At least that's a good improvement to put himself on the 3rd row of the grid.
I was just Ollie Ricks has got a purple sector 1 as well too, so we're going to have a look at Ollie real quick. He's going to be crossing the line here. He could be stealing this one in the AM class. Whoa, there it is, up to P4. So not bad at all. That's the AM driver, of course, in his class. So he's managed to get the little edge there on Roger, who was beating him just a little bit, the 92 machine. So
Ollie Ricks nearly.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say Ollie Ricks nearly won the race, one of the races overall. Actually, never mind in the AM class. So he's clearly showing his pace so far. in this session. I'll let you carry on what you were saying there, Dean.
Oh, it's
but,
just a donkey
it's
on the helmet here. I can see at the moment of Jamie, the 46 machine. I think it looks like a donkey, doesn't it? I can't quite see.
Yeah, it does look like a donkey on the top of it, doesn't
Yeah.
it? I don't know whether that's I don't know if that's the Shrek donkey or whether it's just a donkey in general, or whether he's just a big fan of donkeys by any means. Look to see if there's anything from the live chat at the moment. We can't see anything as we speak, but hopefully we'll get to hear from a few more people as the session goes on. We've got 1 minute to go in this qualifying session. Pete Van Gool fastest, still nearly 4 tenths clear over Newman. It's likely it's going to stay like that unless we get any radical improvements from those still on the circuit. As we look at Newman, by the looks of it there, that's just been highlighted as he heads towards the end of the lap. How is he getting on with this one, Pete Newman? He's going through Druids now. He'll get over there. This is going to be his last lap, because once the clock reaches 0, the session will end right there and then. So it's not like in Formula 1 where the drivers will carry on, complete their laps. The session will end as soon as it hits 0. But Newman's coming into the pits. He doesn't feel he's got any more tyres left underneath him, but I think he'll be very happy with his second place.
Yeah, there's only a few more drivers out there. That's Steve Hetfield going very, very, very slow. It looks to me like Darren McLean might be. Is he got enough time? No. No, that's it. Yeah, some series where you drivers can finish their lap off, but in this series, no. The time goes to 0, the time goes to 0. And we have our first heat coming up, my friend. I've got that grid for you to go over.
Yeah, so it'll be a little bit of time actually before the race does begin. I know you can see the clock ticking down there, but the clock will restart once the race does get going and all the drivers are on the grid. So we'll have a look at the grid for the first race. Roger Morton, I think we need to go to the top actually. Pete Van Gool on pole, ahead of Pete Newman alongside it. Steve Hefford and Ollie Ricks in 3rd and 4th places. Ricks the highest of all the AM drivers. Tom Griffiths 5th ahead of Jamie Ayres. It's Roger Morton, Jamie Wilson, Ralph Cullingham and Colin Sanson running out the top 10. Dries Nies is 11th alongside Darren McLean on the 6th row of the grid. In 13th place is Charles Cullingham ahead of Fiona Siddons, Darrell Wright, Steve Hansford, Mick Barry and Sir Alan Toome, rounding off the 18 drivers on the grid for the first race of this UK SimRacers Championship Round 3 at Oulton Park. So we'll go to the grid. The drivers are very much waiting to go now, so we await the 5 red lights to come on and they'll extinguish and that'll signal the start of race number 1 of 4 here at the Oulton Park circuit in the Cheshire County of England, the United Kingdom.
England?
Yep, that's where it's based. Well, the UK
So
does
UK's
comprise
sim racing.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. It is in England after all. Anyway, the 5 red lights are coming on now. Well, they will be coming on. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, and 5 lights. The lights are on. Lights off here at Oulton Park. Van Gool gets away from the lights. How does Newman get on? Does he get away better than he does? The answer is no. Gould cuts across on Newman as they approach turn number 1. And now we are looking at Steve Hefford and Ollie Ricks further behind. No change there, but there was a little bit of a sniff from Jamie Ayres on Tom Griffiths, but he has to settle in behind. Roger Morton's made up positions at the start as well. He's going to be to 8th place and 2nd in the AM class as he's up the inside there of what looks like Jamie Wilson, who's trying to get through. And now he's losing another place there. Is Wilson to what looks like Colin Sanson, who's gone a position. And Steve Hefford is ahead of Pete Newman into 2nd place, going into Shell Oil's corner. Who's going to get ahead going into the hairpin here? And it looks like Hefford has got the moved on Newman.
Good job. Get your job done early on that one in this first 15-minute heat, 35 seconds into it. Fantastic.
So, and Pete Van Gool leading the way. He's got a distance ahead of everyone else. Actually.
Oh, big accident, huge!
There's an accident at the back. Front bumper gone. Who is that? That's Pete Newman, who's spun round and he's dropped all the way down to the back, and that could be his race done.
And I don't know if it was just Pete on that one, but we'll have a look at the replay real quick there on that.
Well, we'll have a look at it now. Yeah, we'll have a look. And it's done at the chicane, actually. Did he go for it on Hefford into the chicane, or did he leave it all by himself? He clipped the barrier on the inside, and that's what caused the concertina. And Pete Newman's front bumper had ripped itself from the car. And Newman's race is over. He's in the pits and he's out of this one. So it's a huge shame for Pete Newman after qualifying 2nd. And it's going to be no points in this one.
That's why it's there. Stop drivers. Oh, good door banging currently at the moment between these drivers at the moment. This is Colin Sampson and Jamie Ayres and Tom up the road there.
Yeah, absolutely. Colin Sampson got a little bit of bump draft into Lodge Corner, and now we've got a car in the pits. Roger Morton's in the pits. I don't know what's happened to him, but did he get caught up in that first lap melee with Pete Newman? I can imagine that could be the case, hence why he's come in. But we've got a battle for the lead, Dean, because Heffer's going for it on Van Gool. He's ahead of it into Cascades.
Oh, Pete almost lost it there. You could completely see coming out in the corner. So that was a good save so he could live to see another day. But that was absolutely... We'll go and look at the replay there once again in a second on that one.
It looks like Van Gool went too deep into Cascades and Heffer just took his time and made the move stick. So Van Gool down to second place after being ahead he was so far ahead of the others. And I'm actually surprised he's managed to just go in too deep into Cascades on the second lap and lose the lead that way. We're going to get a replay to see how he's managed to do that. So Hefford up behind him. He managed to make up all the ground on Van Gool, actually. Van Gool just... He carried too much speed into the corner, did Van Gool, and Hefford took advantage.
So you get the job done. So you can see your gainers and losers. Sorry, cut you off there. They're showing there for a second there. There's your gainers and losers, of course. So you've got most of the drivers up the field here that have just gained a few, but let's give it to Ralph at the moment, gaining 5 at the moment in P4 currently. So that's good. The rest of the field down there, and of course the biggest losers, unfortunately, losses that is, not drivers are not losers. They've just lost places is the word. Morton, Wilson, and Nace. And we have the drivers that are out, of course, Big Barry. Looks like he's staying in the pit road for some time. That Pete Newman's out, I think. Or just getting those repairs. They're probably not enough time to get too much about it done anyway.
Well, I was going to say, Pete Van Gool's back into the lead now, Dean. He's back ahead of Hefford. I don't know whether Hefford's made a mistake somewhere further on around the last lap. So it'd be good to see if we can get a replay to find out what actually happened to Van Gool. Did he go back in front there?
That's a slowdown.
In fact, no, it's a slowdown. Hefford had a problem.
Yep.
Now, was that planned, or did he just hit the ignition switch by accident or something?
To me, that looked like it might have been a slowdown. As Trace Van Gool out there says, hello to you.
Yes, hello to you, sir. Indeed, tuning to watch the action as it is happening. We've got some overtaking going on at the moment. Cullinan making a move on. In fact, no, Cullinan's gone back down, actually. Jamie Ayres was able to get in front of him at Shell Oils, and Tom Griffiths got through as well. In fact, Tom Griffiths has got a front bumper missing.
Yeah, that's
somehow
big damage
he's
there.
Still able to circulate.
These are pretty tough, these cars. As you can see, still keeps up the speed with it, that's for sure. In fact, he's looking for an overtake there on Jamie.
Cullinan's struggling. I don't know what's going on with Cullinan, but that car is not going at a speed that it should be doing so to compete. Meanwhile, Griffiths all over the back of theirs as they go up the hill.
Switcheroo again for the lead.
And we've got another switcheroo for the lead. Yes, you're absolutely right. Pete Van Gool losing the lead again to Steve Hefford, this time at Druids. And Ollie Ricks, of all people, is waiting in the wings. If these two keep dicing it out or just saying, after you, sir, all the time, then Ollie Ricks will just say, well, thank you very much.
Yeah, especially if they come together as well, too. That battle that they're doing between Pete... Oh, Steve's gone. Steve's blinked. Steve has blinked.
I
didn't see him go off the track.
No, I think he's had a connection problem.
Yep.
I think he's had a connection problem, has Steve, unfortunately.
I can't even find him.
Yeah. And Ralph Cunningham's in the pits as well with a problem. We did say that he was carrying an issue around Hislops, and that's why he's into the pits now. So Cullingham into the pit lane. Will we see him back out in the race there? But what terrible luck for Steve Hefford. Another driver who was destined to take victory in this first race has gone begging.
Yeah, this brings Ollie. Believe it or not, Ollie Ricks has got the fastest lap. The last lap he did was 2 seconds a lap quicker than the leader up the road there, Pete. So he's a man on a mission for sure right now here. And
well, he'll want that buffer over the other AM drivers of McLean, Kellerman and all that. So if he can get past Van Gool without battling too much with him, then he'll most certainly take that. And it will be a win, most certainly. It will be 5 in a row at least for Ollie Ricks in the AM class if he does it. Meanwhile, just want to see if there's any other battles going on at the moment. We've seen Fiona Siddons and Darryl Wright fighting over 7th place overall as they make their way through Knickerbrook again. There is what looks like Darren McLean's behind Jamie Ayres.
Ollie's going
and
for
we're going back to the back of he's going for it. He's thinking about it. Is Ollie Ricks as they head towards Druids once more. And he's not thinking about going for it just yet. You don't want to do it too soon because you're then giving the slipstream to your rival next time around. But going back to the battle between Roger Morton, who's just getting in front there. Who's that he's getting in front? That's Jamie Wilson, actually. They're not in the same class, these two. But Morton will want to get through nevertheless. And I wonder if Wilson maybe has picked up an issue somewhere.
It's quite possible with some of these drivers this evening, as you got two of them still sitting in pit road, that damage. Steve Headford is on. No, I can't even see him on the track anymore. I'll try to click on him there for a second. It's just not. He's out. It says it over there anyway. Out of the session, unfortunately, just dropped out there. Some sort of technical issue. And this is the closest battle. But it does look like that Ollie has backed off a little bit. Still hanging in here at the moment. Now he's got 7 minutes and change to go. You can see the big gap there to Tom at the background there in P3.
Well, it's good to see Ollie Ricks fighting amongst the pro drivers, even if he is an AM driver. So he has most certainly been the AM driver of the season so far. We look at Jamie Wilson, who's behind Roger Morton, over Dries Nice waiting to pounce as well. Now, Wilson and Nice are in pro, Morton's in AM, so in theory, Wilson and Nice should be able to dispose of Morton rather easily, but they're having to make more work out of it than desired.
And you're battling together as well too. You're actually bringing the other driver into play. That's Dries Nice. That's just in the background. So 3 battles really occurring on the track at the moment. You've got Jamie Ayres here, who's banging out on the back of Tom Griffiths, and then who is still doing a fantastic job there with that damaged up machine. Probably more cosmetic than anything, but it's not costing him that much aero. And of course, Ollie Ricks trying to challenge Pete Van Gool for the racing lead. T.S. Van Gool out there in the chat is probably wanting to be shouting on Pete to keep winning this one, but all he has to do is keep Ollie Ricks at bay.
Yeah, well, Jamie Ayres has moved in front of Tom Griffiths now at Lodge Corner into 3rd place. We could see a replay of it because he's had to sit behind Tom for a number of laps. But the move is completed for Ayres as he makes his way up into 3rd place. We'll get a replay of the overtake as Ayres gets into the slipstream on the exit of Druids. Heading towards Lodge, you can see Griffiths moving to the right there. Ayres was actually gifted the position going into the corner. Griffiths decided not to fight it.
Or wants to fight it back later on, when it counts, on the last lap of this first heat.
So Griffiths behind Ayres once more. Like you say, he will probably wait until the last tour to get the overtake completed. And we go back to the battle for 11th place. This is Roger Morton in between Jamie Wilson and Dries Nice. Wilson was able to move in front of Morton on the last lap, and he's now through there. So Jamie Wilson now 4th in class, ahead of Roger Morton, who's sitting 8th in class. Roger Morton's got some work to do here, is to salvage anything better than where he is at. And he's got Dries and Ralph Cunningham, who did rejoin the race, for your information. He's not retired, so providing he does finish, then he will be scoring some points.
Yeah, if you can, absolutely. You've got to get back out there. I think that was a some sort of connection issue that had happened, but you never know what can happen as well, too, with anybody else, and we've seen it before. Fiona's got a big battle at the moment there with Darryl Wright. That's side-by-side door banging. We love it.
Yeah, it's very nice overtake there from Fiona Siddons to move in front of Darryl Wright. She's up into 7th position now in that purple and black liveried Mazda. Over Wright as they head towards Lodge Corner once more. So as they come out of there, Wright got a very good exit coming out of it, so we may come back to that in a moment, but we're back to the lead between Van Gool and Ricks. Who's going to get the upper hand on this occasion? Well, Ricks is looking for a gap there, which isn't quite there at the moment. They're heading towards Cascades, and Ricks trying to get a very, very optimal exit out of the left-hander. So he gets a nice run all the way to Shell Oil's hairpin. As we look back to Dries Nice, who's behind Morton still. Sir Alan Toon is waiting in the wings as well. He's going after Roger Morton. Those two are in the same class as each other. These two are not in the same class as each other, but for the sake of pride, Ollie Ricks wants that overall win.
He's doing a fantastic job. As you said, going to more wins as well, too, to go 5 in a row, I believe you said, from last week. So Certainly a man on a mission. Get a good exit out of here as well, too. So could perhaps look at applying the pressure here. And where's Pete going to go for defense? Pete has to stay at this line now. He doesn't want to swing back out. And that's going to be a little bit early braking. Hits the chicane there, gets a little bit airborne. That's going to allow Ollie to definitely get a good run here.
I don't think Van Gogh has got any defence here because Rix is alongside, and this should be a change for the lead. Rix on the inside. Introduces there's contact made between the pair of them, but Rix is able to get through, and Van Gogh slots in behind.
Wow. That was close. That could have been easily a turn, but thankfully it didn't. And then look how just bring everybody else to play that now. That battle has got the Welshman, of course, so Jamie and Tom to come join the party. That's what we like actually now, to have a nice four-way squabble. That's what you see quite a bit here at the UK Sim Racing Series for the lead.
So we're on to the penultimate lap of the race. Rix leading over Gull, but look at Ayres and Griffiths. They fancy winning this one, and you can see Van Gogh trying to get back through on Rix, going over the curb, nearly airborne, entering Cascades, and Gull going side by side again with Rix, but he has to slot back in again and try and get some form of tow all the way to Shell Oils, but needs to be aware of Griffiths and Ayres' presence, and they're going into Shell Oils side by side once more. Is Ayres going to take advantage of an open door? Should there be one? You can see Rix staying in front of Van Gogh, going into Shell Oils. Now, this is going to be interesting when they come out of the chicane here before going down the back straight towards Hislops. Who's going to have the upper hand this time? This is going to be textbook stuff here. Whoever's going to get it right on this occasion. Here we go, look.
Yeah, it's going to compromise the exit, I think, going through there side by side. That was dangerous. And look how much slipstream that they've got. And Ollie's had to drop back into the fourth place here at the moment. He's going to try to fight this one as much as possible. But this is absolutely fantastic racing to see how easily it is, isn't it? Once you just scrub off a little bit of speed coming out of the corner. And then all of a sudden, you go from P1 to P4.
Yeah, Rix had to back out of that one because it was not his battle. And there was no need for him to get involved in that. He is ahead of the AM class. He's got a couple of seconds in hand over McLean, as the leaders begin their final lap in a moment. Who's gonna come out on top in this first race in the Pro Cross? Is it going to be Pete Van Gogh? Is it going to be Jamie Ayres? Or is it going to be Tom Griffiths?
Question. As you can see right there. Fantastic.
Last lap then is Ayres going for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he going for it into turn one? The answer is no on this occasion, and Van Gogh remains in front for the time being.
There's your top four. The rest of the field have sailed kind of down a little bit. Dries Nice is still kind of in that little bit of a battle back there with Jamie Wilson. But we'll keep our eyes peeled up the business end for now. You got to give it to Tom as well, too, with that damage, isn't it? On the front of that car is still hanging in there quite well. So, tough little machines, these MXs.
Yeah, he's done remarkably well. I'm surprised he's able to carry on without that front bumper there as Tom Griffiths, but he's now stayed in touch with the top two. He could still win this race. It is the last lap, so this is the last time they'll be going through this part of the course before the checker flag. Is Ayres going to get enough of a run on Van Gogh, or is Van Gogh got this one covered as they go past Hislops and now towards Knickerbrook when they get round to it? And the right-hander comes now, and Griffiths, Ayres and Van Gogh go up the hill. Van Gogh is still in front, but it's not safe and secure by any means. One mistake and the victory will go out of the door for Van Gogh, but it seems like he's got this one under control. And now we're looking at Tom Griffiths. Can he snatch second place from Jamie Ayres as they head towards the end of the last lap here at Oulton Park, the first race of this evening? And he decides not to go for it on this occasion unless Ayres has gone in too deep. Griffiths sees the door, but gets a bit of oversteer on the exit. Van Gogh will cross over the line first, but who's going to get second place between Ayres and Griffiths? It's just Ayres by less than a tenth of a second. Jamie Ayres crosses over the line in the runner-up spot. Tom Griffiths, without the front bumper, is third. Ollie Rix wins out in the AM class for the fifth race in a row to carry on the form from last week. Darren McLean fifth, second in AM ahead of Charles Kellyman. Fiona Siddons fourth in class, very well done to her, Daryl Wright and Colin Sanson. Jamie Wilson 10th, fourth in class for him. That's Dries Nice, who opens his account for the season in 11th place. It's Roger Morton, Sir Alan Toon, Ralph Cullinan and Steve Hansford, the last of those to finish. And we'll run down on the classification then to let you know who has ended up finishing where, whilst we are waiting for the other drivers to cross over the line. We've still got a few drivers to finish, but what a race, Steve.
Oh, it didn't it spice up towards the end, which is what you like, you know. I mean, had lots and lots of drama. No doubt. He's our center-esque, Mr. Steve Hansford.
Very nice, and it's good to see him cross over the line.
Yeah.
To bag some important points.
All right, there we go. So now we can get those results. Thank you very much for that, my friend, for crossing the line. And there it is for us. Oof, they skipped over that one really quickly, but there we go, because they're going to a warm-up session.
So Pete Van Gool, the race winner of race number 1 this evening, had Jamie Ayres and Tom Griffiths. Ollie Ricks, the winner of AM, in 4th place, had Darren McLean and Charles Kellyman. Fiona Siddons in 7th had Dara Wright, Colin Sanson and Jamie Wilson running out the top 10. Dries Sneaks, 11th and 5th in class, had of Roger Morton, Sir Alan Toon, Ralph Cullinan, the Irishman, in 14th place. It's Steve Hansford, the last of those to take the checker flag, in 15th place. Steve Hefford, who we unfortunately lost in the early stages while being at the front with Pete Van Gool, retired, as did Mick Barry and Pete Newman as well. Race number 2 is coming up shortly. This is like a reverse grid of a certain order. I don't know which, how many of the top drivers that finished the first race get reversed, but we'll find that out as the grid is being formed for the second race.
Yeah, we'll take a short little break for a few minutes. Have a stretch, grab something to drink and hydrate yourself, and we'll be back in a minute.
Welcome back, folks, to round number 3 of the summer phase of the UK SimRacers Championship of 2024. Just a reminder of the Heat 1 results, the first race of the season. Pete Van Gogh won out over Jamie Ayres, and it's Tom Griffiths in 3rd place. Ollie Ricks, the winner of Am in 4th. Darren McLean, Charles Cullingham, Fiona Siddons, Darryl Wright, Colin Sanson, and Jamie Wilson running out the top 10. Dries Nice was 11th, followed by Roger Morton, Sir Alan Toon, Ralph Cullingham, Steve Hansford were the rest of those who finished. Steve Hefford, Mick Barry, and Pete Noonan were the ones that did not make it to the checker flag. So it's 1 out of 1 for Pete Van Gogh so far after a mediocre second round in Watkins Glen 7 days ago, but he's got off to the perfect start this evening, hasn't he?
Absolutely. Good battling it had, of course, but who was it? Steve Heffer, wasn't it? The one that went absolutely smashing into those barriers? Completely wiped the car out.
Yeah, I think it was Pete Newman. Pete Newman was the car that got one. Yes, it was Pete Newman, and then we lost Steve Heffer because of some connection issues.
Oh, that's right, yes.
But we saw a brilliant race to the line between Pete Van Gogh, Tom Griffiths, Jamie Ayres, and Ollie Ricks. It was quite a grandstand finish. We've got the grid now for race number 2. Colin Sanson is on reverse grid pole ahead of Darryl Wright. It's Fiona Siddons, Charles Kellerman on row 2. Darren McLean, Ollie Ricks on the 3rd row. It's Tom Griffiths, Jamie Ayres, Pete Van Gogh, and Jamie Wilson running up the top 10. Dries Nice is 11th, followed by Roger Morton in 12th place. And then with 13th, we have... Who's 13th? Sir Alan Toon, it's Ralph Cullingham and Steve Hansford and Steve Hefford, the 2 Steves on row 8. Mick Barry and Pete Newman rounding out the grid for the second race. So it's the top 9 from race 1 being reversed for this second race grid. So we've got AMS at the front, so it should be a very interesting start. We'll wait, 5 red lights going on. They go out, we'll be racing again. Lights on, lights off. Sanson moving away from the right-hand side there. You can see Darryl Wright not getting off to the best of starts by the looks of it, because Fiona Siddons is already alongside. She's got a nose in front, but Wright will have the inside line for the right-hander, and he's able to keep hold of second place. But we've got an incident in the midfield.
Big wreck.
Big wreck
some
indeed.
Big names.
Big names in there, but we'll stay at the front for now as we look at Colin Sanson, who is in the lead still ahead of Darryl Wright. They went side by side going into Cascades, and they've managed to survive that without any contact, unlike some. McLean and Ayres are the one who are already out, but I'm sure there's more than just those two who got involved in that first lap mayhem.
I had to get Ollie making a couple of gains here at the moment too. Already. Was some big switcheroo at the moment. Not making any gains, but well, drivers getting eager already off that start. You tend to have that a little bit, but so far so good. Here's Steve Hetfield as well too, so got this connection up there at the moment, and all good to go there. Roger Morton, Pete Newman.
So they'll make their way up the hill out of that chicane there, and you can see Fiona Siddons still in 3rd place, but look who is on the move. It is Tom Griffiths, who finished on the podium in race number 1. He makes a move around the outside into Knickerbrook, and he's through into 3rd place. He's the leader of the Pro Drivers. Kellerman taking advantage of an open door to get through on Siddons whilst we speak. But at the front is still Sanson ahead of Wright, but that is due to change with the Pro Drivers coming through the field, most particularly Tom Griffiths.
Yeah, Fiona doesn't want to put up too much of a fight at the moment with the different classes. She's happy at the moment to fight it out, but having a look at the field here at the moment. It's just spicy does up around here. And once again, we have a challenge for the lead. So
we're seeing Wright now going for it on Sanson into turn 1. Will they get through safely here? Wright loses it. The door was shut maybe a little too late, or perhaps it was a little bit too ambitious for Wright to go through there. But that has allowed Tom Griffiths in the pro class to make his way past. And he's doing to 2nd place on the track. But we've got more battling going on further behind. I think it might have been Ralph Cullingham making a move there as he got through on Pete Newman.
Believe so, my friend. It's getting all spicy dicey up here for sure. Ollie's on a mission on the air. Jamie's on a mission as well too. Jamie Wilson up 6 places, as well as Tom's up 5. Oh, we have an accident. I think that's Roger and Fiona may have come together here.
Well, the looks of it. Yeah, you just see Fiona Siddons dropping down the order. I want to get a replay of that. I was going to say Ralph Cullingham was struggling once again going into the corner there. It was almost not parking the car on the apex, but yeah, there's a collision there between Morton and Siddons. Siddons pointing the wrong way at Shell Oils, and she's lost all that ground that she had made up at the beginning after being towards the front end of the field at the start. It'd be interesting to see who else got involved in that first lap mayhem, because it was a huge concertina effect involving multiple drivers. Mick Barry's another one who's out of the race. So we're down to 15 drivers, and we've only done 1 3/4 laps of this second race. We are getting a replay of the start now. Pete Van Gogh we're looking at, because he is the driver that won the first race.
So it was... Somebody had come off track here up the road, wasn't it? And that's... And when they've come back onto the track, that's just collected Pete there. So who was that? Was it Darren McLean? Maybe.
Well, it might have been Darren McLean. I just wanted to have a look to see who actually stopped. Yeah, he lost it. He took Ollie Ricks with him and took 2 more drivers off on the outside. And someone else had spun whilst all that was going on, perhaps in avoidance. But yeah, absolutely bizarre first corner there. That's the thing with the reverse grids. When you've got AM drivers starting at the front and pro drivers starting in the midfield, you're kind of bound to see that happening. So Alan Toon is another driver in the pits. I wonder if he picked up damage from that first lap mayhem.
It's quite possible. Yeah, you can see there's already some damaged cars in there if they've gone in for sure. That's something to do with that. So, yeah, and that's cold tyres too, isn't it? And that's just going a little bit too quick into that corner on the first lap, and the cars have slid out. And that's just a luck of the draw, isn't it? Sometimes where you are. Of course, with a reverse grid and things like that too, that you generally end up being in place that you're not wanting to start. But it is what it is. It happens to all the drivers.
Griffiths is into the lead now, ahead of Colin Sanson. That makes no effect on the AM result, because Colin Sanson is the leader in the AM class. Tom Griffiths into the lead now overall, and he should be able to pull away from there, with Jamie Wilson, who's the next driver in pro, needing to get by Charles Cullingham and Colin Sanson, but he's got Ollie Ricks for company.
Yeah, we know what Ollie's like, isn't it? And that first race, it's got some serious pace. He sliced his way through the field. I mean, he had the fastest lap. Kind of at the moment, the fastest lap does belong to Tom Griffiths, who's in the lead. Try to maintain that gap, as we're seeing Ralph at a spin. I thought he was heading into pit road, actually, but he's have to wait for a few more cars to go around.
Cullinan's had another spin there. What I was going to say, Jamie Wilson very nearly dropped it on the exit of Lodge and took Ollie Ricks with him. We'll have a look to see what happened to Ralph Cullingham. Did he have a spin of his own by just lighting up the rears on the exit? Yeah, it looks like he just got too greedy on the throttle on the exit and just paid the price for it. And that's what happens with these cars. They're very what do you want it? They're very sensitive. I was going to say fragile in terms of how careful you've got to be in terms of how you apply the throttle, given how light. Yeah, that's quite a big one, isn't it?
I wonder if that's because he was reacting to, as you said, that car further up the road. Remember, you saw that car. Who was it again? That was just
Jamie Wilson. Yeah,
Jamie Wilson saving it, and he's probably gone and reacted. Same, like a very similar situation. That's what drivers do quite often sometimes, isn't it? Especially if a driver makes a mistake and they run off, then you tend to copy their racing. That's because you're racing the car and not the racing line. But these 2 are racing. Oh, I just love it when you hit those chicanes. And look at that. You also scrub so much speed off. And don't you forget, you've got Ollie just in the background there wanting to seize an opportunity. In fact, it's a 5-way, 6-way party now.
Yeah, and Steve Hefford and Pete New enjoying the pie, but too soon, because we got a huge incident at Druids. And that is Charles Cullingham off the track with Ollie Ricks.
Yeah, 5 cars into one, my friend, at that point. It was not going to pan out too well.
What a shame there for Ollie Ricks. That was the last thing he wanted, and he's now falling behind Darrell Wright in class. We'll get a replay of the incident there. You saw, I think it was, who was that was running wide there to begin with? Well, I can tell you, as they were coming in there, in fact, there was it was like a concertina effect, wasn't it? It was so bizarre, but Charles Cullingham taking Ollie Ricks with him. It was not his fault by any means, but that has resulted in the pair of them going down the order. Darryl McLean and Sir Alan Toon have rejoined the race for your information, so they'll want to try and get a race finish under their belts by any means and just get some points. But now we're looking at Jamie Wilson, who's in 3rd place, just ahead of Steve Hefford, and the 2 drivers standing in their way. Roger Morton is another driver in the pits, and he's out of it. I don't know what's happened to Roger, but he looks like he's found himself in the wars again.
Maybe he may have just... Sure about the damage. I'll have a look in a second.
Whilst we look at that, we've got Steve Hefford all over the back of Wilson. This is the fight for second in the pro class. As they go on the back straight there, we cut away to look at Pete Van Gool, who needs to make up after going off at turn 1 at the start.
Oh!
Oh no, there's contact as well! It's almost like the cars have got magnets to another car.
That didn't look like it was much of a tap of Darrell, unless Darrell's turned inwind, but it was side by side down the straightaway, you could see. So we'll have another look at it.
Yeah, we'll have a look at it. It looked more like Darrell Wright just didn't leave enough room. This is in a slow motion camera.
Yeah, but this is it. So they're straight on it here, right? It's kind of turned. That's interesting because you got to keep it straight on that point if you're side by side and it's turned. There wasn't a corner coming up just yet, so you still had time. Well, there's the corner coming up now, but yeah, I mean, yeah, that's still too much of a straightaway, wasn't it, for him to be turning right as well too. I don't think he'd be. If anything, you want to go to the left, wouldn't you? Because the left-hand side's where the as you'd be getting ready for the to spot the apex for the corner. So he went to the right instead to the left, and that gave him a little bit of bump. I think that's probably just a soft-course incident there.
Well, looking at Steve Hefford now in the fight with Jamie Wilson, looking to the outside before they go into Shell Oils. He was foot in there though, Hefford. I think he will do because he's now got the inside line for Shell Oils, and that is a very clean overtake, something that we've not seen too much in this race so far, given all the melodies. And there's a car slowing down there. Who's that that's slowing down? That's Colin Sanson. Colin Sanson's picked up a problem, Dean.
Yeah, that's a slowdown or something, because I thought there was a lap car for a second. I thought, oh, that's just being nice, you know, just get completely out of the way. I don't want to get part of that battle, but no, that's a slowdown.
Surprised he's done that, given how far he was in front of Hefford and Wilson. He could have just jogged on there, and once they got closer, he maybe would have been kinder then, but he's still got a few more laps of this race to go. And now he's left himself with only Pete Van Gool in the way.
That's going to be a
To be fair, Pete Van Gool has got, looking at Wilson and Hefford into Druids. They keep it clean through there, and Colin Sanson will just want to stay in the draft of those two. Perhaps that explains why we have allowed them to go.
I didn't realise you have a Druids here as well. I thought you have a Druids at God, can't remember the track now. The other one.
Brands Hatch.
Brands Hatch, yes. You do, right?
Yeah,
so there's a Druids here too.
Yeah, so there's a Druids at that right-hander, which we saw, and the hairpin of Brands Hatch is also named Druids. I don't know where exactly you get Druids from, so feel free to fill us in the
Druids
right
that you have in the United Kingdom back at the day.
I don't know. I'll leave that for people to put in the live chat anyway. But in the grand scheme of things, Tom Griffiths' lead is 4.4 seconds over Steve Hefford, who has got Jamie Wilson for company. That battle is far from over by any means. We'll have a look at Ollie Ricks, because he'll want to get back in the fight with Colin Sanson to make it 6 in a row in AM. But he needs to get Pete Van Gool first, who's losing ground to the front runners. Is he going to be able to get through on this occasion? Don't know for certain.
It's a spin!
Oh, it's collision!
Yep.
Yeah, collision there between Hefford and Wilson. We'll get it was Hefford. And he's lost ground to the likes of Wilson, Gool and all that. So not good news for him. We'll have a look at the replay coming out of the chicane that is known as Britain's. And
yeah, he's lost it on his own here. Completely.
He's lost it on his own, and he just took Wilson with him. Although, he took Wilson with him, and Wilson's front bumper is gone.
Not that you really need that we've seen before in the previous race, but
yeah. Well, I have seen drivers try and do, almost a full race without a front bumper, and it doesn't always work. Van Gool's picked up. Well, I was going to say Van Gool's picked up a problem, but that's actually, in fact, he's fighting it with Ollie Ricks' 4 position.
Yeah, he blinked out there for a second, so I wonder if we got an off-track excursion. But there's good battling here, of course. Roger is going for it. Pete Newman. And, of course, Steve Heffeld up the road there as well, too. Big gainers there, too. 10 places gained for Stevie. 11 for Pete Newman behind. And of course, we'll go up to this one because Ollie, return of race 1 again.
Yep, he'll want to get Biggles and Wilson there. Sanson just needs to watch his mirrors there. He'll probably regret having to let those two by earlier because he could have just drifted off into the distance without needing to slow down. We're looking at Ricks now. He's behind Gull as they head towards Shell Oils. Can Ricks find a way through? You can just see he's just waiting to get on the power a little bit later there so he can get a nicer run on the exit, but he's not able to find a way through, and he's now wanting to get that slipstream. And now we go back between Hansford and Siddons fighting for 11th position overall, 5th in class in AM. Who is going to come out on top in this particular battle?
Pete Newman made a mistake. I was just wondering why I dropped back here. So
we're going to get a replay of it as this is into Cascades Corner.
Yeah, he's gone around here. That's only a slight tag.
Slight tap. He avoided the wall, thankfully, and he was able to continue from there. Pete Newman not having the best of evenings so far by his standards, but he's got another couple of races to make up for it later on. Newman now sits in 6th in the pro category behind Dries Nice.
Oh, this is going to be an opportunity for Samson to get a good exit there because Jamie Wilson had a nice little save there to get out onto that grass. But now, look at the run you're going to get. Will it be enough? No, you have to lift off a little bit here. Get the exit speed, power down there.
You just see Constantin sitting in behind you. Just needs to be careful because Ollie Ricks is 6/10 behind Van Gogh, who's only 1.7 behind Sanson. This is the last lap now, for your information. Griffiths will be coming around to take a convincing victory. He is slowing down though. What's going on with Griffiths? Because he had a 7-second lead. I don't know if it's just a problem with the classification board, but the
it's going to be late dive. Oh, I wouldn't do it. Yeah, Colin. You want to apply the pressure, but you're right in those chicanes there, and the car's rear engine's going to completely slip out. But he realised, hey, I don't have enough time, do I? Because this is the last lap. You want to get it done, you got to get it done now. Yeah, you said about Tom. I mean, you can see Tom at the moment. Maybe he's just maybe he made a little bit of a mistake, and he's just lifting off at the moment. So I've got enough space. I've got enough of a gap to make a little mistake if required.
Well, it's very close to picking up a victory. Is Tom? He don't recall him winning last week in Watkins, and so much had happened. But either way, he will be picking up his first win of the night. Jamie Wilson, 4.6 seconds behind. Colin Sanson look to achieve victory in the AM series. There's Dries Nice trying to get through on Charles Kellerman. That won't change anything if he does get by, because they are in different classes to each other. But he's got Pete Newman right behind, who could take that position away from him. But here is Tom Griffiths, who came very close to winning in the first race, is going to make up for it in race 2. He wins race number 2 this evening at Oulton Park in the UK SimRacers Championship, and he showed no sign of abating. Jamie Wilson, second place, ahead of Colin Sanson, who puts an end to Ollie Ricks' run of AM victories in third place and winner in AM. Pete Van Gogh, fourth, but third in class, ahead of Ollie Ricks, Steve Hefford, Roger Morton, Charles Kellerman, and Pete Newman, beating Dries Nice on the last lap. And it's Fiona Siddons who held off Steve Hansford in the end, with Darrell Wright coming home in 13th. Darren McLean Darren McLean, I should say, in 14th place. We're just waiting for Sir Alan to cross over the line. Just 3 retirements from the race, and some at race 2 for me, Dean.
Another one of those races that just get So as Tree says, actually, there. Today's, if I'm saying it right. Lots of spins. It's a difficult track for these drivers as you get deeper and deeper into the race, isn't it? And of course with that reverse grid, a lot more contact, but it's lovely, surprisingly, how quickly they start catching up together, don't they? And they start forming these fantastic packs of together and race together, and depending on where they are. We're still waiting for some drivers out there to finish at the moment. That's Darrell, and a little dinged up that car, but it's all right, my friend. Yeah. Work out by result. Sort it out for you.
No problem indeed. Well, we know that Tom Griffiths is the race winner by quite a convincing margin. He did slow down quite a bit on the last lap, but he had it under control anyway. over Jamie Wilson, who was in second place. And very well done to Colin Sanderson, winning it out in the AM class. Still got some drivers to cross over the line, and then we'll run down on the classification.
Yeah, that was Jamie. He was already in P2, so I guess he was just putting another lap in at the end. There you go.
So Tom Griffiths wins ahead of Jamie Wilson. It's Colin Sanderson, the winner in AM, in third place. Pete Van Gogh in fourth, ahead of Ollie Ricks. Then Steve Hefford and Roger Morton in sixth and seventh. Charles Killiam in eighth. Pete Newman finishing ahead of Dries Nice by passing him on the last lap. Take ninth overall and fifth in class. Fiona Siddons in 11th, despite that spin earlier on ahead of Steve Hansford. Darrell Wright 13th ahead of Darren McLean and Sir Alan Toon, who were laps down. Ralph Cullingham, Jamie Ayres and Mick Barry were those two not make it to the end.
All right, well, we have more to come, obviously. And once again, what we'll do is that we'll take another break, everybody, to have a little stretch, and we'll get loading into another race session. So please don't get away. We've got more. And perhaps it could even be rain. Look at that weather as well, too. It's starting to get cloudy. We'll find out after this break.
back, folks. And in case you were wondering about the weather, it was bone dry at the end of race 2, but that has all changed for the third race that is coming up very, very shortly. Tom Cairnes in the commentary position alongside Dean Biggles as we get prepared for something quite different compared to what we have seen in the first hour of this evening's action. Tom Griffiths won the second race in Pro, with Colin Sanson winning in Am. Race 1 was won by Pete Van Gool in the Pro, with Ollie Ricks winning in the Am. But I think this particular scenario, you could colloquially say, is an equaliser for the drivers.
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing drivers absolutely fishtail around here, like drifting style, as they are going to push forward the session. This man at the moment, Ollie Ricks, looks strong. I mean, he's strong here at the moment during about 2 seconds a lap quicker. That's practice, of course. That's one thing, but could be a wet weather master. So finishing up the session. All right, my friend, and this is the mystery grid.
So here is the grid. It is randomised, so we'll run down on it. So Roger Morton on pole ahead of Steve Hansford. Colin Sanson alongside Dries Nice in fourth position. It's Pete Van Gool ahead of Jamie Wilson. Sir Alan Toon in 7th place ahead of Pete Newman. It's Ollie Ricks, Ralph Cunningham, Darrell Wright and Mick Barry rounding out the top 12. On the grid, the remainder of the starters in 13th position, we have... We'll just wait for the grid to scroll down so we can just see where everyone else is at. Charles Cullingham, Fiona Siddons, Darren McLean, Tom Griffiths, the race 2 winner, Jamie Ayres, and Steve Hefford have it all to do from the back. But with the rain coming down as the race gets underway, the lights are out, and we are go for race 3 here at Oulton Park. Roger Morton getting off to a decent start there, ahead of Dries Nice in second place in that blue and yellow liveried Mazda, and he's got Pete Van Gool, who's trying to make a move on the exit of turn number 1, going side by side as they head towards the left-hander of Cascades. But it's Roger Morton in the lead, and it looks like Van Gool is going to go through into second place by the looks of it on Dries Nice. He doesn't quite do so, so he's having to settle for second place as they exit coming out of there. There's a long way to go in this one, not a lot of time, but your race can be ruined if you go...
Oh, Roger Morton.
Get it all wrong. He's gone off the circuit as Roger Morton, so that's him down the order.
Dropped out the internet connection or something.
That is such a shame for Roger Morton, although he's come back into play. I think the classification does that sometimes, so just ignore that for the time being. Roger Morton is still in the lead ahead of Dries Nice and Pete Van Gool in third place. Jamie Wilson in fourth. It's Pete Newman in fifth, but there's a car. Is that a car off in the background there, or is that just me thinking ahead there and thinking of things? That's probably me thinking of things, so just sorry for that. Morton's dropped down again on the classification, but I'm not sure that's just because of the connection, as you've rightly mentioned there, Dean. But in terms of that start, that was relatively clean.
That was a great start, actually, my friend, considering very gingerly conditions for people to go through. Oh, just as I said that, 2 cars go deep.
Into Knickerbrook, they went into there. That's Dries Nice off the circuit. Pete Van Gool went off as well, so clearly carrying too much speed there as they go through. So that's both of them down the order as we look at Roger Morton and Jamie Wilson going side by side into Drury's corner, and the fun doesn't stop there as they exit the right-hander. They've got another right-hander coming up. That is Lodge corner, and we've got Jamie Wilson up the inside ahead of Morton, but Morton is not giving it. Oh, he has the outside line, but sometimes in the wet that is the optimal line to take. But is he doing enough to maintain the position? Jamie Wilson still on the inside. Who's going to be the later on the brakes? It looks like it's Wilson as Morton squirms his way through turn number 1, and we have a new race leader. That is Jamie Wilson in the pro category, at least.
And they're still going for it tooth for nail here at the moment. I'm just hoping that that little blinking, that's a little internet connection issue, doesn't affect anything with Roger, because, you know, he's certainly driving, and he's driving quite well. As you said, he had that lead there. Jamie's now got that lead from him, but see the sun's coming out a little bit. Look at the spray. If you want to see the spray, of course, if you go aboard a driver, this is what it's like in their perspective here. So you can see the fishtail going on at the moment here. Got the windscreen wipers on flat out.
Yep, the windscreen wipers are in motion. The sun is coming out. I don't know if the rain is going to stop during this one. I wonder if this opens things up a little bit later on, because the rain may stick around for race 3, or at least the wet track will do. I wonder how that will play out for race 4. You can just see Roger Morton dropping down again, but I'm tempted to say that that's not genuine. He is still in play as we wait for the classification 2 update. It is a connection thing, so Roger Morton is still in 2nd position.
Good battle between Jamie Ayres and Tom Griffiths here. Currently further back, we've got Darryl Wright, who I believe, no, it wasn't Darryl, it was Darren McLean that's gone off the track earlier. Oh, and there's somebody who's gone off the track again. Oh, that's collision, I think.
Darren McLean and Steve Hansford have both gone off there. Yeah, so we'll get a replay of that in a moment.
Well. Sure,
I think he's hit he looks like he's hit the barriers and his front bumper's gone on Hansford's car. As Mick Barry we're looking at, it looks like he's had a spin. Actually, he's gone into the wall, which hasn't helped his cause. So we're going to get a replay of what happened to Hansford and McLean. And yep, it's as you called it, Dean. And also that someone else got involved, and that was Sir Alan Toon. He's picked up damage.
Well, it was clean at the start, and it's got a little bit more pole shape now, but that's to be expected. Tricky conditions. Drivers are getting all over the place. Look at this further at the back there. He's setting up the inside there. PVG. Not quite yet. Belling it out with Ralphie.
Well, Ralph Cullingham is in the action for once this evening. He's going alongside Steve Hefford for a moment, but Hefford will have the upper hand on this occasion. Behind Pete Van Gool, who's 2/10 up the row. Oh, that's Van Gool actually in front of Cullingham. My apologies. Hefford is behind Cullingham still. But we'll look at Sanson now, and someone's squirming all over the place through Shell Oils. I think that was that Van Gool that was going PVG, sideways?
Yep.
Yeah.
On that banking elevation turn, of course, with the water, and it's a little slippery. And they are slipping and sliding around the place, but they're doing a good job.
They're doing a very good job indeed. I wonder if the track will dry out somewhat, and that way more and more grip will emerge. But Van Gool on the outside this time. The move is completed on Sanson, so Sanson won't be too fussed about that. And now he's got another set of pro drivers who will be looking to get by him very, very soon. Ollie Ricks in 3rd position in the AM class, going alongside Roger Morton. This is a battle for a potential AM win. And he's through, but there's Morton spinning around on the exit of Druids.
Yep. There's Morton going around. I wonder if there was contact that we'll have a look at that a little bit, because we've still got some more battles brewing up here, and this field's starting to bunch up there. This is fair test. I don't think it's going to dry up enough in 9 minutes' time, but maybe for the next heat it could be.
You could just see still a few raindrops coming down. We're looking at Steve Hefford making a move on Colin Sanson into turn 1. No troubles there. And Ralph Cunningham is still behind Gould as they exit the first turn. And it was a very poor exit, actually, from Cunningham, which is going to give Hefford an opportunity to go for a gap on the outside, entering Cascades. And he's not able to get through. And Colin Sanson had to slam on the brakes to stop himself from running into Hefford.
Yeah, we just saw that there for a second while we were running on board. See that spray. Gets a lot worse when you're back here, of course, because then, luckily they got brake lights, actually. It makes it a little bit easier to see the car. And when they're stopping up the road there, as you can see. Nowhere to go here. This is the dangerous part of the elevation change. You can get a good exit on there. We saw on the dry line forming, but it's completely different out here in the wet. You don't want to get the power down too early, otherwise you're definitely going around.
Yeah, and we've just seen Sanson going for an outside line.
What's in there? Oof.
Ooh, that was close, wasn't it?
Yeah, somebody was in the fence at that point. If you're going to continue to bold brave on that one, gentlemen.
So Sanson line up for a pass on Hefford. Does he decide to go for it? Probably not. At this point in the race, he is currently second in class behind Ollie Ricks. We are going to get a replay. This is Steve Hansford exiting the pits. And has he been involved in some form of shenanigans?
Oh, this has stopped?
He's just stopped on the circuit as Hansford. He was involved in the incident with Darren McLean earlier, and it looks like he's just... I don't know. Oh, someone's in the wall! That's Pete Newman.
Oh dear, that's huge.
That's huge. That's a badly wrecked car, and that's Newman's raised dog.
Crabbed. Yep. That's got to be a tow back. You can't drive that one back. His steering's all bent. I don't know. Maybe somehow it is.
Yeah.
Somehow drivable.
I'll be amazed if he he's able to carry on with that. The right front is absolutely broken, and yeah, I'll be amazed if he gets back into the race.
Does turning
at
somehow.
all.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
it is turning, but we're going to get a replay of it now. Does he touch the curbs? Well, he's already starting to spin round there. Oh, does he actually?
No, it's tap.
Oh, he gets tapped.
Doesn't take much.
Yeah, it doesn't take much at all, given how light these cars are. Newman put into the wall there. That's bad news for his race.
Sit on board.
I want to get a rear view of it, really, ideally, because
it's a little hard.
Does he get a tap? It's just the slices of taps. It's completely accidental, but that was enough to put Newman in the wall. I'll be surprised if he does get back in the race at all and salvage some points in this one. He is in the pits now, is Newman, and that's effectively his race over. So Oulton still running in 14th place overall. We're just looking to see who else is making the move on circuit. Well, Ollie Ricks is now behind Jamie Wilson in the battle for the lead overall. They are in different classes, but Ricks is allowed to fight it.
And we saw during the practice session before, Ollie Ricks was just so much quicker than everybody else in these wet conditions, and he's been quick anyway in the dry. So he's definitely one to look out for at the moment, as we know. It says Morton up there in the middle, just because Dries Nice has changed his car number or something like that, I think it is, and he is a pro driver, and it's just didn't have a time at the moment to get that changed like I did at the start of the race. So he was a 007 machine, I remember. Now he's at 808, so he could change everything, switch the whole car around.
Well, imagine if it was 118 or something like that. That probably would have been a bit of banter, wouldn't it? But Wilson and Ricks are going through turn number 1, right, moving in front of Morton. Now, Morton is very much struggling, and it looks like his race is over. Be interesting to get any news on Morton, exactly what happened involving him. But he's another casualty in this race. Darren McLean is... Oh, there's a spin. That's Ralph going round, yeah.
Now he's out of the fence, so that's a good sign. He'll be able to continue. Just drop a couple of places to see a few more cars coming around the corner there now. Now we can get back up onto the power. This gets spicy and dicey now because PVG's got the back of this one. And we saw the PVG versus the Ollie Ricks show, haven't we? All races so far, and that's PVG going a little bit wide on that one. Yeah, those two had been at it too for now, but this time around you got Ollie, just a little bit of that advantage lead there over. But Ollie's, of course, been held up a little bit by Jamie. Jamie's like, well, I'm defending him. I'm not holding him up. So we'll see.
Jamie Wilson leading the race in pro. Ollie Ricks leading in AM as they head towards Knickerbrook for the 6th time in this race. They are coming through now. There'll be 2 laps to go, I think, the next time they cross the moment. So it'll be an 8-lap race as opposed to a 9, as we had in the first 2. As Morton is actually still in the race, according to the classification. He's in the pits at the moment. McLean is coming back through the field with cars in the pits or out of the race at the moment. Oh, did Ricks lose it? I thought Ricks might have lost it on the exit of Druids. You might want to pick up on that, Dean.
Yep.
But it looks like he's carried on his way. But that was very close to him being in the barrier and out of this one.
Yeah, I won't be able to go up and have a look at that one, sorry. But, yeah, just as I went away, because there was a battle between Fiona, who got past Charles for the P10 position. So fantastic driving for her.
And that's enough to put her up into 3rd place in the class. So Fiona Siddons, I don't recall her finishing in the top 3 in the AM class so far in the summer campaign of UkSimracers in 2024. She's on course for that, but she's got Charles Kellyman right behind her as Griffiths gets through on his knees. And you can see Wilson going off. He allows the car to roll onto the grass without putting the power down. And that's enough for Ollie Ricks to go through, but he needs to watch for Pete Van Gool, who'll be waiting in the wings to get through and take another victory.
Yeah, PBG's going to try to capitalise on that mistake there at the moment, but Jamie's just going to tuck him back behind. This is just driving on ice at the moment, isn't it? It's just one little slip up at the moment. You've dropped all those places, but you can't afford to go too slow because you don't have much laps left. And Charles got past Fiona again, so those two are still squabbling at 2 for now, but we'll still keep eyes on the back of this one because Jamie wants it back big time. And he's going to try his absolute best, and Ollie's going to try his best to hold off and get his first win for the season, for today.
Yeah, side by side they go. They don't want to risk too much here. Rix most certainly does not want to risk it, and most Wilson doesn't want to risk too much. But you can see Van Gogh getting on the grass there as he gets to on Ollie Rix on the inside. Will Rix hold it out round the outside? He does not. He sensibly lets Ghoul go through, and it'll be the last lap next time they come round here. So it is going to be a wet race all the way through. Let's see how race 4 pans out. It's like a wet, dry one. But you can see more and more grip is starting to emerge. You can see he's getting the power down. The big slide there for Gull on the exit of Lodge. And this is now the last lap of the race. They cross over the line. Jamie Wilson still leads, but it's not done and dusted just yet.
No dust as well too, my friend. Exactly, done and dusted. But Ollie's going to want this one. I think Ollie's, because he's finished, remember, behind PBG all the time in the battles that they've been having. So he's going to be, I got to get a race win here. He knows he's quick in the wet. PBG's he's a little bit of mistakes at the start of this race, but he's climbed his way back up in the field here. Feel a little bit more comfortable. And here it is, challenge for the lead.
Yep, Wilson trying to hold off Gould there. He didn't get the best of exit out of Cascades, and Gould took advantage. This is not the last of it by any means, as Rix almost getting a bump draft from the car in front there. Gould looking to the outside to try and get the power down sooner. But look at Steve Hefford and Jamie Ayres, because they're right behind this bunch now.
Yep. We've seen that, haven't we? Every single race so far, really. You get the couple of cars that are up the front, and there's, a couple of second gap, and then all of a sudden, bang, you've got a 4-way party or a 5-way party, which is fantastic in the dying stages, and the dying lap, actually, of this one, as it's really spicy dicey up the front, my friend. This is going to go good for somebody and probably horribly bad for somebody else.
Wilson back through on Van Gogh, round the outside into Knickerbrook, and that is him through back into the lead. But is this the last of it? Because you can see Ollie Rix looking to the outside of Van Gogh, doesn't go for it sensibly. He needs to watch for Steve Hefford, who's trying to get through so that he can have a chance of fighting out with these two, of Wilson and Gull. They come out of Druids. This is it now, Dean. They are going toe-to-toe into Lodge for the last time in race number 3 here at Oulton Park. Well, Gull round the outside goes way too deep on the brakes, and Wilson gets back through. What will this mean for Steve Hefford? Contact is made, and he spins round his front goal. Jamie Wilson wins the 3rd race here at Oulton Park. Jamie Ayres second ahead of Steve Hefford. Van Gogh had that spin, but crossed over the line in 4th place. Ollie Rix got involved in the mayhem, and he's lost the AM win because of it.
He's not even across the line yet, is he? No.
No, he hasn't.
No.
He hasn't crossed the line yet as Ollie Rix. He just needs to get over the last few meters, and he should be able to finish. Where will he end up? 2nd in class it will be for Ollie Rix, but that most certainly should have been the class win.
Yeah, I told you, didn't I? You could kind of foresee something was going to happen right towards the end, wasn't it? Right towards the end of that lap, when they were all bunched up and they're all going for it tooth and nail. And have a look at the replay here.
So here we have a look. So Van Gogh went way too deep into Lodge corner, going for it on Jamie Wilson, loses focus, and I don't want to say he's unaware because he knew Steve Hefford and Ollie Rix were going to be coming in. He tries to hold them off, but he just took Hefford and Rix with him. Rix's car is heavily damaged. The front bumper of Van Gogh's car goes missing, and what could have been race winners for both Van Gogh in Pro and Ollie Rix in the AM ended up going begging. What a disaster.
I thought he's got it back up over the line there because he got stuck in there and the fence in the wrong direction, whereas the other drivers just managed to get away with that one. But there you go. Of course, this man, Jamie, what a fight back, wasn't it? I mean, he had to sacrifice a lead a couple of times there to the other drivers that ended up finishing off. PVG ended up finishing P4, and as you saw, Ollie Rix ended up finishing in P9. Now the 2 drivers that took the lead of this race. But Jamie just, kept out their back. 15 places gain as well as Steve Hefford. So fantastic from those drivers as we get the results up for you now.
Jamie Wilson winning out in the end in the unlikeliest of circumstances, ahead of Jamie Ayres in 2nd place, Steve Hefford 3rd. Pete Van Gogh, who very nearly had won had it not been for the collision with Steve Hefford and Ollie Rix, ended up in 4th place. Colin Sanson snatching the AM win ahead of Ralph Cunningham in 6th place. Dries Nice was 7th, ahead of Tom Griffiths in 8th. Ollie Rix having to settle for 2nd in class in 9th. Charles Cunningham in 10th, holding off Fiona Siddons. So Fiona Siddons missing out on a podium in AM, but she'll have another chance to go for it in race 4. Darrell Wright in 12th had a set Alan Toon. Roger Morton didn't finish, neither did Darren McLean. Pete Newman, Mick Barry, and Steve Hansford also did not make it to the end of race number 3.
Let me just fix Dreese's name up over here too, so it's Dreese Nice Pro back in the pro.
Hopefully so, in time for race number 4. I wonder what the weather's going to play out there, because that race had a lot, didn't it, with the conditions. It was a relatively clean beginning before it all pretty much kicked off, with drivers almost running into each other, really, particularly in the last lap involving Van Gool, Hefford and Riggs. How do you see race 4 going?
Well, it's drier now, as you can see, so we'll have a look at the weather. So it's a little gingerly, but I don't know. It might be elbows out completely for the final race, my friend. You know, it could play it either way, but I don't know. There's a lot of drivers are really risking it for the biscuit in the dying stages of these races, but that's what makes it entertaining, isn't it? That's why you have full stage breaks as well too, so you can take a gamble. That's been one of the highlight zones right there, isn't it? When people exit that corner, they've smacked it into that fence over there. So if you want tickets, of course, get your little fold-out chairs and sit there if it was in real life. That'd be a great spot.
Well, I can imagine those that went to the British Touring Car event at the weekend most certainly have got their chairs out. It was a very hot weekend, you said, at Oulton Park. And it's been very much a hot one for the drivers this evening, given all the maladies that have been going on circuit. It was an interesting third race, a spellbinding third race, and we are waiting on a grid to come up for race number 4. The drivers are just getting some more laps in a warm-up session. Do we have a grid ready yet, Dean?
No, we don't yet, my friend. No, there's still a little bit of a warm-up. I'm fixing Dreese. I think Dreese Nice has changed his name again, and he's changed it back, so he should be good to go now. You messing around with me there? You're seeing if I'm paying attention there, Dreese, I am. I think, if it's still coming up with your name there, I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, warm-up's just a couple more minutes, my friend.
Yeah, I can see that on the screen at the moment. You can just see drivers just getting some more laps in, just so they can get themselves acclimatised back into the dry conditions once more. Of that hectic third race, that was a wet one for the drivers, but it's like race number 4 is going to be a dry one, to say the least. Hopefully we won't have too many collisions this time. It's almost like the drivers refuse to leave each other alone, which is rather dramatic. It's almost like watching a soap opera.
Well, the P. What are we going to see a repeat of the PVG Ollie Ricks showdown that's been going between those two drivers as well?
Yeah, we'll see about that. Yeah. I mean, Pete has been involved in a number of incidents so far this season, most notably last week at Watkins Glen, when he, Tom Griffiths, and one other driver, it might have been Jamie Ayres, I think it was, on the exit, coming out of the, the foot section, or the shoe section of Watkins Glen.
Yes, sir.
He's on the exit of heel, where they came together and it ruined their races at the same point. That's kind of like the epitome of a rivalry between those three, so don't be at all surprised to see elbows getting out between those in particular.
Yes, that's what you want to see, but elbows out. PVG certainly an entertaining driver, that's for sure. I've actually got Teresa's iRacing number now, ID now, so that'll fix all that. Excellent. Should only be wrapping it up there in a couple of seconds. Get ready. Now, why has Rick's come up with a different... Go. Oh, he should still be on the pro. They're playing tricks on me. Hope everybody's having some fun, enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that... Is it Tees? Trees? I can't... What is it? Is it Trees Van Gogh? Trees?
Pete. Sorry, are you thinking of Pete Van Gogh?
Yeah, but in the chat, it's Trees Van Gogh. Pete's in the chat as well, but it's Trees. Trees, are you a family brother or something, a sister or a family member?
Oh, Tees. I thought you said Trees. I was like, yeah, Tees. Sorry, my apologies for that. Yeah, he thinks it's going to be a monster race, which I'm kind of inclined to agree with him on that. We've got a race 4 grid lineup for you now. It's Charles Kellyman on pole ahead of Ollie Ricks. It's Tom Griffiths and Dries Nice alongside on road 2. And it's Ralph Cunningham and Colin Sanson next ahead of Pete Van Gogh and Steve Hefford. Jamie Ayres and Jamie Wilson running out the top 10 ahead of Fiona Siddons and Darrell Wright. Sir Alan Toon and Roger Morton on row 7 ahead of Darren McLean and Pete Newman, who will be looking to bag a good haul of points after a really shambolic evening, it's safe to say, for him. Mick Barry and Steve Hansford rounding off the 18 drivers for this last race here at Oulton Park this evening. Well, the drivers are now on the grid now, and we are waiting for the lights to come on. Who's going to come away with the victory here to end the evening on a high? We've got the first light coming on now. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lights on. Lights off for the final time here at Oulton Park. Charles Kellyman getting off to a reasonably decent start. Ollie Ricks not as such, as Tom Griffiths looks to the outside of the light green and black car, but Ricks has got a brilliant turn in there into turn number 1, but went a little bit too deep and almost took Kellyman with him. And that opens the door for Tom Griffiths to go through here and into the race lead.
Oh, there's the concertina effect at the back there. Now, where's PBG? Because somewhere along the line, it's going to be, he's always in the mix of the wars this evening. As you can see, 3 abreast, slicing through. Oh, and that's
collision.
Yeah, I think that's Fiona, wasn't it? Somebody kind of turned
Fiona
in there.
and
Darrell.
who's that? It's Darrell Wright. It's Darrell Wright that has got involved in that. So Wright ended up in the wall with a significant amount of damage, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if he just parks it and heads back into the pit lane. Dries Nice in 3rd place now, with Ricks back in 2nd. And, well, I can tell you that Darrell Wright is not in the race lead. But we're looking at Ralph Cunningham goes way too deep into Britain's, and he had to miss the chicane to avoid colliding with another driver. Yeah,
very, very good re-entry back on the track there. But it's going to bring this party down here at 4 cars. Oh, there's going to be some elbow. We knew it was going to be elbows out, didn't we, for this race? And there is definitely some bumping.
There's definitely some bumping going on, and it's not surprising to see, given it is the last race, every driver wants to get the best result possible of what's been quite a dramatic evening of action once more in the UK Simmers Championship. And we've got Ralph Cunningham going to the inside there of Druids. Yeah, that's certainly elbows out, riding the curb on the apex, but it didn't quite pay off in the end on that occasion. But we are looking at Pete Van Gogh going for it on what looks like Charles Kellyman on the exit of Lodge Corner, but Kellyman is not giving it up by any stretch. And Van Gogh is going to go through into 4th place, going into turn number 1 and 3rd in class. Van Gogh goes through, no problem at all.
Yeah, he's up the road there because it's going to hunt down Dries Nice and Ollie Ricks, of course. See, Ollie was getting in front of this race again, doesn't he? And take the lead because he's only taken the lead really for what, a lap or 2 just before, and then ended up losing the lead again. So Tom's up the road, Ollie's in P2, as you said. PBG, I kind of got a feeling that PBG is going to be right up next to Ollie Ricks at some point. A few more laps.
Well, don't be at all surprised by that. Ralph Cunningham and Darrell Wright are in the pit. Steve Hansford has not even started the race, unfortunately, which is a huge shame. Not sure what's going on with him. We've got Jamie Ayres behind Steve Hefford and Charles Kellyman as they head through Britain's. And it's onto the back straight they come. Jamie Wilson in 8th position after winning the the last race, I think it was. Was it the last race he won?
Yes.
My memory's beginning to go. Yes, I was right, yeah. But Steve Hefford, who's in 6th place, 4th in class, goes up the hill behind Charles Kellyman. Will he be a factor in how the race gets decided here? But Van Gogh is through on Dries Nice, entering Druids, and Van Gogh gets through safely and cleanly this time.
There it is. So, guess who's next up the road?
Ollie Ricks.
His arch rival in the racing today. Ralph has had another moment, I think, at the moment, unfortunate for the Irishman, as we saw earlier. This is what's happened here now.
This is at Cascades Corner, yeah. He's gone through the he's gone through the old configuration of Oulton Park. That's taking back some memories for me. Yeah, he's just literally taken a shortcut, which I don't think that's quite within the rules of iRacing to take a different route. But I don't know whether he's just struggling for pace at the moment or just dawdling around the circuit just so that he can come back into play. But he will get penalised if he carries on. But I'd like to think he'll be retiring from the race shortly.
get a slow down for that one big time. But he can't lose anything at this point because Darryl Wright's a lap down. Well, he could lose that to Darryl, but it's a lap down. Ralph's gone in the pit road anyway, so he may be thinking about retiring, as you said.
Hefford's through, and so is Jamie Ayres. They both got through on Charles Kellerman into Shell Oils, and they are both up into 5th and 6th place and 4th and 5th in class. And they really are getting stuck in here. They're wasting no time making light work of the AM drivers as they head towards the likes of Van Gool, Nice, and all that. Up front, we've got just over 10 minutes to go. We're on the 3rd lap of this 4th race here at Oulton Park. It would have been a dry one. I expect it to be a 9-lap event. Tom Griffiths' lead is half a second over Ollie Ricks, so do expect to see some form of fight in a moment. We're looking at Pete Newman getting on the curbs, trying to get through on Charles Kellerman. Kellerman goes wide, thankfully rejoins safely without taking another driver with him, and I think he's going to have to accept defeat on this occasion.
Yes, once again, a different class, but he doesn't have to yield it, but they're fighting. He's fighting for it because they have to fight a way around at the moment. We're on board with Jamie, as you can see. There's Charles just to your left. Charles is trying to get a little bit defensive in there, but still manages to maintain it as they're both going to come out of that corner quite wide. You want to go too wide, you'll get the slowdown. So he's got 2nd in class, remember, at the moment, and Jamie Wilson is a...
He's a pro driver.
He's a pro driver, so yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So he's 7th in class, is Jamie Wilson, so he needs to get a move on if he's going to replicate what he had done in race number 3. Kellerman's in the way, though, so Wilson want to get through very, very quickly here, but he's not close enough to do it into Shell Oils, is he?
No, but and then also Charles needs to defend because the thing is, you know, the next in the class, of course, is Roger Morton. And that's how far Roger Morton is down the road there at the moment. So Charles doesn't want to yield too much because that'll allow it. Roger has got clean air, but Roger's got, Klein and Colin Sampson tucked up behind him. And here we go. Once again, I was mentioning it, and it was inevitable it was going to happen, isn't it? The PVG show, the PVG versus the Ollie show is once again built back up. And once again, they're behind another car as a leader, and that's Tom. So, and then
Tom Griffiths
guarantee, look at Dries as well, too. Dries nice in the background. I bet you that'll be joining that party soon. If not, Steve Headfield, like we have been having towards the end of our lovely, fantastic race sessions this evening.
Yeah, and you just see these three. I think we might as well include Tom Griffiths in that soap opera if you want to include him in that. Charles Kellerman losing the position to Jamie Wilson, but he won't be too fussed about that. He's still 2nd in class, is Charles, but we are now on lap number 5 as we see Ollie Ricks still holding up Van Gool. He won't want to risk too much though, because the next driver behind him in class is Charles Kellerman, and he's another 7 cars back. And Van Gool is close up behind. He'll want to get through on this occasion very, very soon. Tom Griffiths, who won out in race number 2 in Pro, is looking to make it 2 for this evening. I can't remember how many wins he's picked up this season so far, but he has been fighting at the front very, very often since the season had begun a couple of weeks ago at Sebring. But we're looking at Van Gool, who's still chasing, and Jamie Wilson has lost the position against Charles Kellerman. Did he make a mistake on the exit of Cascades?
Kellerman's making, there's a slowdown, I think, from Jamie. Yes. Jamie just let them both through there, just like that. So I must have thought that's probably a slowdown.
Well, it could be a slowdown, or he may have made a mistake on the corner before, but Jamie is not exactly going as quick as he needs to have done. I wonder if he's made a mistake somewhere, otherwise he wouldn't have let Kellerman and Wilson through that easily.
I think Kellerman went off track, but that was lap 4. So that was a little while ago.
As is behind Wilson going through Knickerbrook. They are now 6th and 7th in class. They are chasing after Pete Newman, who's kept his car clean so far in this race. Steve Hefford ahead of him. And looking forward at Ollie Ricks, who's just in front still of Pete Van Gool. There's a car actually ahead of this lot.
Yeah, that's lap.
Who is a lap or two. It's a lap's car.
That's Ralph, I think.
So we're just looking at the car number there, or maybe the position. It is Ralph Cullingham in 17th place. He'll need to be on his toes because the leaders will catch up to him sooner rather than later. Griffiths goes wide on the exit of 1, and Ricks closing in behind. When does he decide to go for it? There is the back marker.
Yeah, where are they going to catch him is going to be crucial, isn't it? Because, yeah,
well,
they get him
he's getting out of the way.
Yeah.
Although Ricks is making the most by trying to get a toe off Cullingham.
There it is, and PVG's going to use that to his ability as well, too. Exactly. That might not have been a good idea there, Ollie, to get that toe off it, because it really did bring PVG back into play. He's going to try to run the outside.
Yeah.
Nope. I think second of that one.
Yeah, and Gull waiting behind Ricks. No way through just yet for him. Goes to the outside. Is he through into Britain? He is, and that's him through.
Ooh, yeah. That was a bit of a lift off. I think that was a wise lift off there from Ollie as well, because they didn't want to end up going side by side through there. And these two are liking that last race and stuff like that we had as well too. So they both yielded a good position there with that battle they had. And Jamie is all on the back there of Jamie Wilson, to the battle of Jamies.
So Wilson versus Ayres as they go up the hill. We're getting to Druids in a moment. As on the inside, he will have the inside going into Druids. Will Wilson leave enough room? He does leave enough room, forces Ayres out onto the curb, and it is still very much a drag race heading towards the large corner. Ralph Cunningham staying out of the way of these two, and thankfully so. And you can see Ayres dive into the inside, and he's doing Wilson on this occasion.
And further up the field, we have a familiar battle between these two drivers. 3 drivers, actually, because Dries is also a part of this party. And that's Pete Newman and Steve Hefford. They've got, those two are always inseparable sometimes on track. And here's Dries going for a little bit of a run on Pete Newman inside there. Couldn't quite get it done yet.
So Dries down to 6th place. Hefford and Newman are through ahead of him. Dries will just settle for the position he is at 5th in class. Ollie Ricks is still in touch with Gull and Griffiths. As we look at Wilson and Ayres still going at it as they head towards Shell Oils once more. Ayres will have the inside line in that red 46. Does he go through on Wilson on this occasion? And yes, he does. I think this is far from being the last of what we're going to see between these two.
It's this fighting is bringing. Oh, there's a side by side going through there, I swear. It's bringing, of course, Charles Kellerman back into this one, because, in the different class, he's like, all right, you two, you've had a little bit of a chance to squabble it out. I'm back into play, so let's go.
See Kellerman around the outside there, but he was never going to get through on this occasion. So he sits in behind, but we want to go back to the leaders, because Griffiths is only 2 to 3 tenths ahead of Gull as they come towards Lodge. They've got 2 more laps to go at the end of this lap. But what does Gull decide to do? Does he decide to go for it on the next lap, or does he wait until the last lap to make his move?
Well, we saw that I think it's the last lap. You saw it before, didn't you, in the previous races? They give it everything on that last lap. As Uncle Pete, that we just heard.
Yeah.
Patrice said he's going to go. He's going to be a monster race. So I think he knows that PBG is going to want to take this win from Tom.
Yeah, he knows he's going to go for it. He's just biding his time, using his experience to good effect, and he'll eventually make his move. He'll need to watch out for Ollie Ricks, because he will not want to have a repeat of what they had at the end of race 3, where the two came together and threw away both of their wins. Their class wins, in case you're wondering.
But these are racing drivers, my friend. None of that goes through their minds generally when they're racing. It's just like, if gap car, I'm going for it.
Yeah. Well, it is the penultimate lap of the race. Gull is behind Griffiths in the battle for the lead. Does he decide to go for it? My guess will be no, but Fengel will just want to be all over the back of the gearbox when the opportunity comes around eventually. And we've got a battle for 4th place overall between Newman, Hefford and Nice that is hotting up. You can see Hefford right behind Newman as they come towards Knickerbrook again. And now we've got a battle for the lead raging on, because Griffiths and Gull going into battle side by side for the first time in this race. And Griffiths holds out for now, but what does Gull decide to do? Goes to the outside. Does Griffiths leave him enough room entering Lodge? can tell you that Gould was slightly later on the brakes. We saw what happened with that in race 3. He tries to be later on the brakes than the other driver, but it didn't pay off on that occasion. The white flag has been waved, so the last lap begins now. Who is going to win? Is it going to be Tom Griffiths, or is it going to be the Dutchman, Pete van Gool?
Or Ollie, if they take each other out. So anybody could win. Pete Newman in the back there, who's got 4 positions. Of course, they're a little bit 4 seconds change down the road. But if these 3 come together or anything like that, hey, all of a sudden Pete gets a nice race win for the 4th race and the final race this evening.
So it'd be nice for Ricks to round off with another victory in Am. But does he think about the overall win, or does he just settle for where he is? Well, to be fair, Kellerman is 6 places behind him on the road. Mick Barry is out of the race. We don't know what happened to him, but we want to stay towards the business end of the field with Griffiths and Gould locking horns and determined to fight it out to the end. Griffiths is the defender. Van Gool is the attacker. They've both won a race already this evening. They'll want to make it 2 to finish off the evening's action, but who will get that?
And where are you going to throw it in? Because you've only got about 5 turns at best left. This is the high-speed part of the section, of course, of the track, so this is where it gets fun. You get a little kinky here, and then you got to get ready for swinging it over to the left-hand side to go right. Now, then there's where you're going to get elbows out for sure, but that could maybe... This is it. One more corner, really. Got to give it absolutely everything.
Gould is going to absolutely go for it here on Griffiths into Lodge Corner. Where does he go? Griffiths brakes earlier to stop Gould from gaining as much of an advantage as possible. They get through there safely, but Tom Griffiths is going to hold off Pete van Gool to make it 2 wins this evening here at Oulton Park. He wins ahead of Pete van Gool and Ollie Ricks to the line. No drama between those 3 this time. Griffiths is the victor in race 4. Ollie Ricks is the race victor in the AM class. Pete Newman beats Steve Hefford and Dries Neeks to the end ahead of Jamie Wilson and Jamie Ayres. Charles Kellerman and Darren McLean ran out the podium finishes in AM, with Colin Sanson in 11th place overall, but Roger Morton has run into trouble on that last lap. We don't know what's happened involving him, but Fiona Siddons and Sir Alan Toon should make it to the end as well. We've had quite a bit of drama towards the back end of the field without really noticing it.
Who did you say, sorry? We'll what was that again?
So Roger Morton had hit trouble by the looks of it on the last lap, and yeah, he's dropped down the order quite significantly. Sarah Siddons and Sir Alan Toon were so far behind Roger Morton, so I don't know exactly what happened to those lot as well as Roger, but hopefully we'll find that out in due course. Daryl Wright, we're just waiting to see if he actually does cross the line, which I think
just
he will
trying to find where Roger, yeah.
Well, that's Charles Kellyman.
Oh, it's a blink.
Is there a blink?
Yeah, that's what happened. He blinked.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
That's
why I couldn't find it on the telemetry, because the telemetry doesn't count it as a crash or anything like that.
Okay, well that explains it then.
So Alan Toon had a little bit of mistake, but this is the last lap, I think. So,
what happens to Alan? It's a slow down, isn't it? Hopefully, he didn't take the shortcut or back onto the circuit. But either way, everyone's made it to the checkered flag, apart from those that didn't make it.
This is what happened to Mick Barry. You wanted to ask about that earlier, because we didn't really show up because it looks like it was a solo accident. And Mick Barry was retired from the station anyway, and he went on missed the action. But that's got to be very deep out there. I think that was okay, but he also had another little moment a little later on after that. That's caused this.
Well, Mick Barry had an accident of his own. I don't know if this happened to him this evening. Yeah, he caught the grass. That was the reason for it. And I can imagine he just ended up in the pits shortly after that. He just gave up the ghost because it felt like it wasn't worth it. But race 4 and the last race of this evening has concluded. So let's run down on the race results. Tom Griffiths takes his 2nd win of the night ahead of Pete van Gool, with Ollie Ricks in 3rd place and winning out in the end in the AM class. Pete Newman 4th ahead of Steve Hefford. Dries Neeks and Jamie Wilson are 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, and Jamie Ayres, the last of those from Pro, in 8th and 7th in class. Charles Kellerman and Darren McLean to finish on the podium in AM, ahead of Colin Sanson, Fiona Siddons and Sir Alan Toon. Roger Morton stopped on the last lap, as did, Daryl Wright made it to the end. He made it to the checkered flag, so hopefully he'll pick up points for that. Mick Barry retired, as did Ralph Cullinan, or at least Ralph Cullinan was 2 laps down. Steve Hansford very much didn't take the start. We never saw Steve Hansford in that 4th race.
Yeah, exactly.
4 races done. How do you assess that then, Dean, given it's your first experience of understanding how UK sim races work, at least for this season anyway? Your thoughts on the action itself?
I've done a few of them before last season and stuff like that, but this season, yes. Well, it's good to see some new faces and obviously familiar faces. Ollie Ricks has done an outstanding job. I mean, realistically, the pace that he has, it's almost like at a pro level, isn't it? As an AM driver. But yeah,
Absolutely.
it's with the good reverse grids. I mean, nothing like a bit of water in there. In fact, with that wet weather race wasn't too bad, really, at the end of the day, considering how they were really elbows out, weren't they, for those first couple of races, stuff like that. But yeah, no, it's good. I mean, this is what it's all about. They have fun too. This is what it is about. Of course, at the end of the day, having some fun, and the drivers don't take it as as cranky and get all upset and start shouting at each other all the time like you get sometimes of some leagues, because accidents do happen and rubbing is racing, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's nothing too serious involved in this. It is all fun and games between the drivers, but of course they want to improve their morale within iRacing, because, as we all know, iRacing does come at a cost in terms of either competing or being involved in broadcasting. We do like to take things seriously to a degree, but not too seriously, as you rightly mentioned there, Dean. So that very much rounds off tonight's action, unless we've got anyone to interview.
No, I don't think anybody's waiting at the moment. They're probably a little exhausted. That's fine. So round 3 is done, dusted, isn't it? Round 4, where were we off to?
So round 4, we are off to the Styrian Mountains of Spielberg at the Red Bull Ring, and that is very much a fan's favourite. So do not miss it, as it is in 7 days' time, same channel. If you haven't already done so, do make sure you like and subscribe. We do aim to get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of this month. So if you're not one of those that have subscribed, do make sure you press that subscribe button. It's there for a reason. So
we're only 10 away, I think we were before. But anyway, I have to look at that one. Yeah, I think literally about 10 away. So get on with it. Help us out. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll round it off this evening. Thank you very much, Dean, for your support as well with all the broadcasting and everything involved. And I'd say thank you to everyone that's tuned in for this evening. James will be back alongside me next week when he's back from his travels, and we'll do it over again at the Red Bull Ring in 7 days' time. I'm Tom Cairnes, he's Dean Biggles, and we'll speak to you again soon when UK SimRacers returns.
Jungle.